So let's begin in whatever physical position you would like to be in. However feels right for you to start off this practice. Maybe you are sitting upright. Maybe you sit on something like a cushion or even a chair or a folded blanket to lift the hips up a bit. Maybe you even sit against a wall. Maybe you're not upright at all. If you're lying down, you can choose your back, side, or belly. Whatever you do choose, breathe in and out of it with full awareness. Noticing the parts of the body that expand when you inhale and how that expansion interplays with the floor. And as you exhale, sink and submerge and spread out, noticing the distribution of your weight bearing downward. Root down, find the ground, find your body. We'll take about 8 or so breaths here. All that you need to do is breathe. And you do that all the time, so you're great at this. And slow it down. Bring more intention with the inhale through the nose. And you might let out an open mouth sigh every now and then. And if you do choose to exhale with intention like that, send out any inquiry, any intentions for this practice for yourself. And we usually have the tarot reading be open and intuitive, but we're going to have an intention this time. We'll pull 4 cards, all of which have their own intention. First card will represent 2021 as a whole. The second card will represent supportive things that helped us through the year that we will continue to bring forward, help support us through the next year. Third card are cycles or any conflicts that we can let go of, that we can release before moving on to the next year, what we won't be bringing with us. And the fourth card, an anchor card for 2022, something that can help support us when we are faced with challenges next year. I'll take another 10 or 12 breaths. Just stay with it. Find your center, find your focus. Reflecting on the year that you've just lived. Okay, wherever you are, you can maybe get a little cozy or come listen, come hither. Let me read you these cards. I'll just describe them with words first, and then I'll show each of them up to the screen so you can see them. The card for 2021 is the Eight of Swords. Physically, we see a figure that is tied up with her arms behind her, blindfold over her eyes. 8 swords surround her, tips down into the ground, handles up. She's standing in a puddle, looks like a barren landscape otherwise. This card represents when you are stuck and bound within your own thoughts, with your own ideas and beliefs, since it is a swords card and deals with the element of air. There's a lot of rewiring of beliefs that happens with this card. It's the opportunity to sit still and ask yourself, is that true? Is that real? Second card, something that has helped us this year and will continue to support us through next year. Ace of Wands. We see a figure holding a wand with leaves that look like flames on them. There's a city far off in the distance underneath the cascade of mountains. There's a river, and we only see just the hand and the wand. Ace being beginnings, the initiation, the spark, especially with wands, we're dealing with fire. So a spark of an idea, chasing an idea, holding it, planting seeds, seeing what happens with your passions, ambition. So any awesome ideas or inspiration or whatever that means to you, anything, creation is very ambiguous and can go spread super wide. You can be creative in so many aspects of your life. If you found something this year, keep doing it next year. This is what we will release. Queen of Wands. We see this figure sitting on a throne on the very top of a mountain. You see a black cat, familiar friend, sitting facing forward right in front of her. She has lions and sunflowers on her throne, and she's holding a big sunflower. She is a personality that represents fierce ambition, fiery drive, embodied fire. Not only does she talk the talk, she walks the walk. I don't usually read reverses, but this was pulled reversed. And if we are releasing some part of the Queen of Wands, it's best to release her shadow side, right? Or maybe integrate and process it within ourselves. The shadow side of this personality could be wanting to be the center of attention, maybe putting yourself over someone else, prioritizing the self. There's a big gray area with that. So maybe the lesson can be, how can I still be confident within myself and also compassionate to others as well? And if and when, because we will face the challenges next year, this archetype can help support us. It's the Six of Cups. It's the inner child card. We see a full-grown adult and a child version of her facing one another. The adult is holding this cup that is overflowing and has little tiny magic little doodads above it. And the child just looks at her with wonderment and amazement. This is the part of you that can provide what you weren't able to get as a youth in your early formative years. All right, let's see them. Here is the Eight of Swords. And the Ace of Wands. Queen of Wands. Sassy, hot-headed, other shadow things that just come to mind. And Six of Cups, the inner child card. All right, let's start moving. Before we do though, let's gather some props nearby. Let's get however many pillows, bolsters, or cushions you're able to get. We're gonna have the more the merrier. If you don't end up using some of them, then that's fine, but it's good to have a lot. Maybe that's my Taurus rising speaking, but it's just nice to have things. Also, let's have a strap or scarf or something nearby. I've been liking using a scarf lately. Good. And we'll have blankets too. I'd say at least 2 blankets. Good, yeah, and as we're gathering our things, we'll actually we'll all stand up. We'll kind of just shake it out a little bit. This can be intuitive, but we're gonna flop a leg from the ankle and the knee. And then flop the arms. Loosen out the wrists. Explore some rotation. Yeah, shake things loose. Good. We'll visualize that figure who is bound and tied and blindfolded. And we'll even grab our elbows behind our back or somewhere, maybe forearms, maybe wrists. And we'll come to like a mountain pose with this bind behind us. If it feels okay to you, you can close your eyes. Find the alignment of shoulders over hips, over feet. And the top of the head over your tailbone. Take a few deep breaths. Notice where your exhales are allowing you to settle and soften in this bind. Are you able to soften your fingers' grasp for a bit, but still stay held? Soften the jaw, the shoulders. Notice the space between the rib cage and the space between the vertebrae. And notice how your pelvic floor and bowl of your whole pelvis is sitting. Notice the legs and the feet on the ground. Take a breath in and exhale. Good. Lower the hands. Flop them loose. Palms face up and out. Locate the shoulders over the hips again. Press into the ground with your feet. Inhale the arms up. Pause, wrists over shoulders, over hips, over feet. Oh yeah, nice long line. Look up, open through the throat. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Feel a long collarbone and sternum. Inhale. Exhale, dive forward. Open up through the back body. Maybe bend one knee at a time. Take a few moments to explore this for about 4 to 5 breaths.
Shake the head, yes and no. With your next inhale, halfway lift. Nice full breath in through the nose. Exhale out the mouth, forward fold again. Good. Inhale, another halfway lift. Clasp your hands by the low back. Bring the shoulder blades together. When you exhale, we'll rinse out the shoulders, gently lifting the hands away from the low back to the degree that feels comfortable to you. Maybe bend one knee at a time again. Maybe open and close the jaw and shake the head. Take 3 deep breaths through the nose. You can have soft knees. With your next exhale, release the arms down. And then come to your hands and knees.
Come to cat-cows. Go in a nice intuitive way. It might feel nice to lift the feet to make circles with the ankles. Maybe make circles with the head. Sway from side to side. Get creative with it. Do your own thing. March to the beat of your own drum. Let's embody and think of both of those fire cards, both the ace and the queen. Good. Come back to tabletop, flat back. Find your own alignment. Curl the right toes under. Shift back and forth to roll out through the ankle and the bottom of your foot. Good. Realign yourself. Protect your wrists. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Lift the right leg up. Build up heat. Charge through that right heel. Feel the long line from hip to heel. Breathe in. Exhale, bend the knee around the spine like cat. Bring the knee towards your chest. Good. Inhale, extend. And then we're going to do something funky, but stay with me. We're going to wrap the right knee to the outside of the left. Feel free to readjust so you feel centered. We're going to have this inner bind with our inner thighs pressing into each other and do some cat-cows here. So roll around with this. Notice how you have, or what you feel going on that outer left hip and glute. And maybe you experiment with really squeezing those thighs together. Actually activate here. Fire energy blending with that 8 of Swords. Good, one more breath. Good, release the bind. Curl your both toes down on the ground. Sit on your heels for a moment. Bring the hands onto the thighs. It builds up some heat. Don't need my sweater anymore. Take a few moments to pause and notice, did you build up heat too? How's the rate of your heart, the rate of your breath? Inhale the arms up overhead.
Exhale the hands together, lowering the knuckles of the thumb to the center of your heart. Tune in. How's the beat of your heart? How's the rate of your breath? Bow your head to 2021. Take a breath in. And exhale. Notice the bottom of your feet. Let's release this. Lift the feet, make circles with your ankles. Good. Lower, extend the left leg, shift forward and back to notice the ankle, heel, calf, all that good stuff. Good, and then have a solid hand grip on the ground. Protect those wrists, lift that back leg. Feel that stability and that heat. Charge through that leg. Tight glutes. Inhale. Exhale, round the back. Bring the knee to the chest. Good, extend again. Reach and bind. Bring the knee to the outside of the right knee. Readjust so you feel centered. Play around with this. You might squeeze, you might hold, you might arch. Press and bend and breathe. Good, one more breath. Beautiful, release the bind. Good, let's just come to a normal seat on the ground. What's normal mean? Whatever it means to you, however you want to sit upright. Just take a couple moments. We'll bring the left hand to our heart and the right hand right underneath the low ribs. Take a few moments. Do you notice any heat from your hands? Any heat from your core? Do you feel this exchange of heat and weight from hands to torso, torso to hands? Good, bring the hands together and rub. And press into them and rub. Build more heat. Good, and then replace them, but swap it out. Right hand to the heart, left hand to the gut, the upper guts, the lower ribs, the diaphragm. Breathe. Notice the lower body too. The fire element can be hard to control. It is wild, it is life itself. It is fierce and ferocious and unforgiving. It can leave scars. It can cleanse. It can do so much. It can burn you out. Recognizing any
shadows that come from the light the fire brings within ourselves in a non-judgmental way, and release that personality type. Release with your exhale as you slowly wrap your arms around you. So the right hand is by your shoulder and the left hand is by your rib cage. You might even rest your head down and in. A sense of self-care. We'll think of the Six of Cups. This position, this deep embodiment of self-love can feel, well, it can feel all sorts of things. Notice what it brings up for you. Stay with it if you're able to. One more deep breath. Good, release. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. Shift a bit, flap the knees a bit, loosen up. Good. Hands on the knees, palms face up. Locate the shoulders over the hips. Space between the hips and rib cage. Broad shoulders, soft jaw. Deep breath. Noticing the inner thighs. Allow them to open up. Good. This is a nice position to receive. We can stay here or we can move this into a forward fold. You might fold right on into it, or you might reach up so you can locate some length in the side body and the spine, and then fold forward. Your hands might touch the feet lovingly. Maybe give a self massage. Maybe the forearms come down onto the ground. Or maybe you don't fold forward at all. The next 8 breaths are yours to fill. You might experiment with holding the breath in and notice how it feels to be full. Or maybe with the full and complete exhale, you pause before the next breath. Take a few more, allowing your hips and inner thighs to melt a little bit with each breath. Good, one more breath. Good, let's release back up. Hands on the ground right behind you. Lift the knees so the feet are on the ground and drop the knees from side to side. Good, nice little booty massage. Let's come onto our backs. Let's make sure we have our scarf or strap nearby. Maybe you bring a folded blanket underneath your head so that you have a little bit of support. We're going to have the knees bent to start, and you might drop the knees from side to side again in this position. let's also have a bolster or a block nearby. Good. Settle in to find your back. Lift the shoulders, lift the hips, lower the hips. Lift the feet, straighten the knees, bend the knees again, feet back on the ground. One hand on, right hand on the right hip, left hand on the left. Noticing the very base of your lower back and your entire pelvis. Allow the knees to rest towards one another, softening in the thighs. Noticing the feet on the ground. Resting through the face, softening the jaw. Good. We're going to come to a restorative bridge pose. So I'm going to demo with a block, but you might use a pillow or a cushion or something that supports the backs of your hips, your tailbone, and your sacrum. So where it specifically goes can be up to you. But as long as you feel some decompression in the low back while also feeling supported. Good. And we'll just take 3 deep breaths here. In through the nose. Out the mouth. In through the nose. Out the mouth. Good. One more, in through the nose. And out the mouth. Good. Bend the right knee so you lift the right foot up. You might hold on with your arms, or hands rather, to the backs of your thighs. Good. Notice what that did to your low back. We're going to bring the left palm to the left thigh for stability, right palm to knee for guidance. We're going to guide little intuitive movements. So we're still unstable on the left side as we're exploring, not only moving the femur in this hip socket, we're also getting a little bit of a massage with that block or support on our low back, upper glutes. So play around with this for a moment. We're doing some self-massage techniques to our glutes, low back, and hips. Good. Take a deep breath. Center yourself. Grab that strap or scarf nearby. Wrap it around the bottom of the right foot and extend. It doesn't have to go up to the ceiling. Extend to what feels comfortable to you. Have it be held by this bind, by this strap. You may choose to extend the left leg. So we're just noticing what we feel all across the thighs, all around them. The pelvis and the low back, soften in the shoulders, soften in the neck and jaw, and take 5 or so breaths. You might explore movement if that feels right, and you can always bend that right knee. Breathe in, breathe out.
Release everything. Feet back to the ground. Very slowly release your prop. We're going to bring the spine back from top down. So move very gingerly. Top down, tailbone's the last part. Whew. Bend the knees in towards the chest. Maybe dropping the knees open a little bit from side to side, maybe rocking. Maybe a happy baby or Supta Baddha Konasana. Whatever feels right. About 3 or so breaths. Good. Bring that block or folded blanket between your thighs. Feet on the ground. Hands by your hips. Soften the shoulders. Squeeze isometrically into this block. So squeeze with your thighs inward. Find that fire. Meet your resistance. Squeeze in. Find that activity and get engagement. You might even notice that the glutes engage. Just a few more seconds. Allow yourself to tremble. If you're trembling, allow it. Make yourself tremble even. Squeeze a little more. Good. One more breath. Release the squeeze. Keep the block there. Soften. Then we'll come to a spinal twist. We're going to drop the knees over to the left, stack the hips. You can keep that support there. So the hips are facing the left and the shoulders can open up so that the chest faces the ceiling. Feel free to trade out any type of support that feels right between your knees or ankles for the spinal twist. The face might be towards the right. Let's give ourselves about 8 to 10 breaths. Just unwind, twist, release, 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 let go. Notice the heart space, broad collarbones, broad chest. Notice the length of the spine and neck. Top of the head all the way down to the seat. Take one more breath. Roll onto your left side. Pause. Reflect. Return to your back. We'll find that block again and come back to a restorative bridge. Find it, feel it. Breathe in, breathe out. Good, right hand to the top of the right thigh, left hand to the left knee, hug it into your chest. Pause for a moment. Notice how this readjusted your pelvis and low back. Big belly breath. Awesome, good. Guide little gentle movements. They don't have to be full circles. Experiment. Self-massage. Good. Find your strap or scarf. Put it around the bottom of the left foot. Extend. You can be generous. You can bend this knee. It's okay. We're just finding length through the glutes and the hamstrings. You can still lengthen through the glutes and hamstrings while the knee is bent. It doesn't have to be a full extension. You might straighten that right leg. This opens up even more through the iliopsoas, the very tops of the quad. Take a few deep breaths. Scan the whole body. Be present. Good. One more breath. Good. Release, bend both knees, lift both feet up. Good. And then we're going to make little intuitive circles with both knees. You might move both knees in the same direction. Notice what you feel with this little block massage. Or maybe you make figure eights. Or maybe you move them in two opposite directions. Good. 3 more breaths of free flow and movement. Good. Realign the knees with the hips. Bring the feet on the ground. Lift the arms up overhead. Feel the side body and the front body open up. Soften space between the shoulders and ears. If it feels right, lengthen both legs. About 6 or so breaths. 6 for each cup in the 6 of Cups. This is a vulnerable position. Give yourself the strength to be vulnerable. Where can you let go? Where else can you let go? Good. Whenever you notice that 6th breath, let it fully go. Then we'll bring ourselves back in, feet back onto the ground, arms down by our sides. Pause. Good, and you know the drill. When you reintroduce the spine, it's top down. So release your prop, bring it top down, drop the knees from side to side. Maybe hug the knees into the chest, do what feels right. Happy baby, perhaps. Good, we'll all hug the knees into the chest, wrap the arms around, lift the forehead to meet the knees, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Good, lift or bring the head back down, bring the block between the thighs, squeeze some more. feet are on the ground as we're squeezing the block into our thighs. Feeling the adductors come against that block. Notice what happens to the pelvis. Allow yourself to shake with it, tremble. It's okay. This is actually somatically good to rewire some trauma or stress. Doesn't have to be trauma with a capital T. Good. Squeeze for one more breath. Soften in the face, soften in the shoulders. Let go. Feel the layers of yourself unwind as you let go of that. Come to your spinal twist the other way. Stacking the left hip on top. Hips are facing the right. Find your spine, keep it centered. Chest lifts to face the ceiling. Your neck might twist, so you face the left. Take a few moments, settle into this twist. Good. One more breath. Let go of all of the air with your exhale. Unwind to curl up on your right side. Maybe bringing that blanket back underneath your head. Maybe it was there the whole time. Maybe it wasn't. You might bring the arm under your head like a pillow too. We'll pause in a fetal position for a little bit. Get comfy. I'm going to stay here for a while. Notice how it feels to curl in, to curl up. Maybe you even hold something. I have this scarf I was using as a strap. I'm going to curl it in, hold it against my heart and my hand. Maybe you have a pillow, you can do the same. Maybe you're, as a kid, you had a stuffed animal or a blankie or something. If you're a cuddle bug, I know I was. Not all of us were, though. We're going to find that inner child. Think about Six of Cups. Think of how much you've grown. Physically, of course, but spiritually, intellectually, emotionally. Your consciousness has expanded. You've learned so much. Press your way out of this. We'll come to a seat just to center ourselves. Ah, beautiful. We have about 8 minutes left. So we're going to end with a supportive back bend, supportive heart opener, as they say.
I'll give a cue about 2 minutes till if you want to do a traditional Shavasana, if you don't want to end in this. But y'all might already know how to get into this. If not, then listen. We're going to have the seat on the ground and have however many cushions or bolsters you need to support your back. To find it, we're going to bring the back and the back of the head down and ask ourselves, am I able to really submit to this and let go fully? Am I able to lift, feel the upper back open up and bend here? If not, then find something to bring that to you. We're gonna have support underneath the backs of our knees too. So that might be a rolled blanket. I have one of these smaller bolsters. But having some support so you are not overextending down here can help the low back. You might choose to have a Supta Baddha Konasana lower body if you want something like that. I'm going to bring one more blanket on top of us. I'm going to have this sealing us in right here, sealing in our root and sacral areas, maybe even tucking in around the outer hips. We'll bring our arms from side to side with the palms facing up. Point and flex the fingers, make circles with the wrists, open and close the jaw, point, flex the toes and feet, and soften and let go and release. Deep breaths. You might even bring that scarf, if you're using one, over your eyes, over your forehead. Soften, soften, and let go. Feel all the support with these various props you've used. And stay with this. Notice that heart space, the sternum, the rib cage, and lower ribs and diaphragm. The side body, the belly, and the pelvis. Noticing the seat on the ground. Root down, root down. Noticing the thighs, the knees, lower legs, and feet. Noticing the shoulders, elbows, forearms, and hands. Noticing the face, the scalp, and the throat. Send it back to the heart. Reflect on the year, reflect on the whole life. Maybe even past lives. Maybe even your ancestral lineage. Everything that brought you here to this point. You can allow for some nostalgia as you reflect. Sentimental. Notice what rises to the surface. And even as challenges will continue to show up, remember that it is an opportunity to heal that inner child, to heal the past, to heal your lineage. an opportunity to course change to align with your karma. An affirmation offered in this Moonchild guidebook: I treasure the memories and build new stories. What a lovely affirmation for this new year. I treasure the memories and build new stories. We have about 2 minutes left. If you're super cozy where you are, stay there. If you feel you need a Shavasana without props, go to that. Treasure your memories and build new ones. Begin to deepen your breath. Awareness back into the spine. Radiate out through the whole core, through the hips and shoulders, elbows and knees, wrists and ankles, fingers and toes. Wiggle the fingers and toes. Maybe a big full body stretch. You might roll onto your side. Pause for a moment. Seal it in. Good. And when you're ready, we'll come to a seat. If you wear glasses, remove them for a moment. As we sit, we're going to rub our hands together again. Recreate some heat. And then we're going to bring the palms, base of the palms to our eyeball sockets. Just rest and maybe even gently press and maybe even move the eyeball underneath your palm. Soften in the shoulders and jaw. Good, deep breath. And then we're going to bring our fingertips to the center of the forehead and then just brush out, brush along the brow line, the hairline, right underneath the brow, outer edge of that eyeball socket. Good, and now a couple circles by the temples. And then make little circles right behind the ear. Open and close the jaw. Good, we're gonna pull on our ears now, little ear massage, squeezing and gliding all the way out from the top, outer edge, down to the lobe. Good, and now we're gonna bring the pointer finger to the right on the outside of the jaw, thumb right underneath the jaw, and just go down. Maybe do one side and the other, both of them together. Let the jaw open. Good. Just some self-massage. And then we'll go down the throat and neck and bring the hands to the heart. Feels right. Just connecting them somehow. Find it, close the eyes, honor this practice, honor yourself, honor your community, honor this time of year. I invite you to chant Om as we close out. To sync our breath, we'll inhale and then sigh, and then the next breath brings us to the chant. Om. Thank you all. I hope you have a lovely, lovely, lovely new year. And if this brought up any insights for you, feel free to email me. That is always welcome. I don't think I say that every single class, but you're always welcome to further process some of this stuff. Or if you have questions. So yeah, have a lovely evening and new year. Bye.